Well, Wick, thank you for that very kind introduction. It's not going too far to say that without your guidance and mentorship over these past 2 decades, I would not be standing on this stage this evening. The time I spent at The Ohio State University studying under the tutelage of Alan Millett and you were among the most intellectually fruitful of my life. And I am privileged to stand here tonight, not just as your student, but as your lifelong friend. I'd also like to thank the American Task Force on Palestine for this singular recognition. I am both humbled and honored to accept the organization's Distinguished National Service Award. There are so many people who have touched my life in the past half-century, from the good folks in my birthplace of New Ulm, Minnesota, to my family and teachers who helped raise me in Sacramento, California, to the officers who took me under their wing during my education at West Point, and the mentors who supported me during my 26-year career in the Army. Among them, General David Petraeus, with whom I had the privilege a great American in himself, with whom I had the privilege to serve during the crisis years in Iraq. It is not often that one has the opportunity to help change the course of history, and I am grateful that I was able, in some small way, to help turn around a failing war effort during the surge of 2007 and 2008. Now I will speak the only words of Arabic I know. Ana ausli min Ramallah. Actually, I know a few more, but and as I discovered out there in the reception, there's 38,000 others in the United States who can say the same thing. I was, of course, aware of my Arab identity from an early age. But the full import of my heritage didn't hit me until my first tour in Iraq as a brigade commander stationed in Baghdad. In mid-July 2003, I was inspecting the position of one of my units guarding the Sheraton Hotel downtown when one of the sergeants asked me if I was going to have lunch with the sheikhs. The thought intrigued me, not just because I was tired of military rations, but because I understood the role of tribes in Arabic society. So I walked into the hotel, into a ballroom much like this, and there seated in the ballroom, in a scene straight out of Lawrence of Arabia, were 250 tribal sheikhs in their flowing robes. They greeted me warmly and invited me to address the group. By the way, as I got up to address them, I looked out over the sea of 250 tribal sheikhs. I froze because they all looked like my dad. But what those sheikhs represented was civil society in the Arabic tradition. To our detriment, we ignored them for far too long in Iraq. Ironically, the tribes proved to be a major part of the solution to turning the war around when all looked lost in 2006, and they sided with us to destroy al-Qaeda in Iraq. What I learned from this experience is that genuine progress in difficult conflicts requires finding willing partners in the quest for peace. When extremists control the agenda, then politics become frozen. And that, in a nutshell, is the purpose of groups like the American Task Force on Palestine. A moderate voice for Palestinian Americans, and a willing partner in the search for a lasting and just peace in the Middle East. May God bless the voice of moderates in that endeavor. Thank you again for this special evening, and thank you for this great honor.